Hello everyone, welcome to the third part of making the Snowflake tower, and in it I will try to use the previous parametric outline that we created in the previous video to reach at least the first step of making the architectural form. So in this previous work you can see that that's what we want to achieve as a primary goal, and it's the geometry of the tower itself. And in it can be divided into two parts. First, it's just the solid itself inside, which is this one, as you can see in here. And this guy, of course, without this, it represents the architectural form where the building is there, and that's the solid part where you have to divide into floors, and that's the roof, and that's each one of them will be divided either here inside the Dynamo or in Revit into the floor, and we get from it the plans. So that's the architectural form. That's the first thing you need to achieve, which is actually the easiest one. And the second thing you need to achieve is the surface. So if I own this one, which is the surface, and off the solid, that's the second geometry we need to achieve. See, it's just a shell. It's the architectural skin, actually, that represents the architectural facade of the building. And in it, you need to create an extra outline, which is this. Here you can see the crown in the building, and together we actually need to create both of them, actually. So we need to create this guy and this guy in the same time. So that's what you should create. And if you look, both are technically depend on the concept of profiles. So this guy is this profile, and then this one, and then this one. So you're just accumulating the same file that we have created, but in a different in a different set of P1, P2, which is the main parameter, and E1, E2, 3 that create this tower. Anyway, so I'm gonna close this guy, and we'll close this guy too, and I'll start up a file from the beginning. So that's a file from scratch. I'm gonna go new. I'm picking a metric system, fixing the units, and I'm gonna create a new file here in Dynamo. I'm gonna open this folder that we named Firas 3 last time, and that's the Snowflake parameter plan outline that we created. And as long as you just placed it, you're gonna see this, the default parametric plan outline created for us here, ready and waiting. You need now to create that, or to change this into a profile. And as I show you earlier in the beginning of this video, the tower that I made, the architectural form, or the solid part of the building, we need to create it depending on 7 levels, okay, or 7 profiles like this one, but with a different parameter for those inputs we have in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create something like a plan maker or a profile maker. I need this one in it. And indeed, I need to translate that, or to move that. So I need to translate X, Y, and Z. Let's have this one to be moved, or moved vertically based on the height. So what I need is a slider. Let's have a numerical slider and integer slider. The numerical slider, I will rename it, and I will name it floor height, and probably I'll just constrain it to be minimum 4, maximum 6, and I'll put 5 as a default value. In the integer, I will make it floor number, and I will accept 0 as a default value and leave it like 100 for the maximum. So let's go 0 because that's what I want. It's the beginning or the ground floor to be sitting on the 0 floor, or the 0 sorry height, and it represents that doesn't have any offset from the 0 point or the 0 height. So we need now a code block to translate that by multiplying A by B, so we get the height, right? If we know that this is the 5th floor by 5 each, we're gonna know that the overall height is 25, so that will be great. So I'm gonna translate that in here. So we know that this geometry is actually sitting on the 0 or 0z. Beautiful. So now we need sliders again. So I'm gonna use numerical ones, and we need an input for each one of those. So that's a P1, and in the beginning or in the ground floor I use this as a 75. Now the second one I'll just call it P2, and I will use 25. Third one is E1, and it's 70.5, and then E2 and it's 21. I think I get these numbers from the same website for Lava Architects, or I don't know, or from the website, the other website that I show you in the first video. Also we need R1 and R2, so that's R1, and it should go like a 3, and I have these numbers prepared early on a piece of paper, so I'm not making them up anyway. And this one is 8. So we have those guys, those are our inputs. So just simply connect each one, and you can see that the parametric plan or the parametric outline is actually changing each time we give them a different value for those inputs. Now it's like a ninja style. Better. Those to define the radiuses that we have for both R1 and R2. So now that's been said, this is the plan that actually sit in the ground floor, and I know in the original one that's been chopped off, so it's a void here, and that's solid, that's solid, that's solid, that's void. But again, I'm gonna assume that all the tower is actually solid and there is no gaps. We can return later on and add a solid form to it to subtract that, but not now. I'll assume that it's a fully solid. So that's our first, let's call it plan maker. It's not really a plan or a profile maker. Let's call it plan maker or profile actually. At height. Okay, now let's copy that up, all of it after we grouped it. Yep. Now this guy is should be, let's go like a level 5. So when you feed this to 5, immediately it jumped up by 25 meter by multiplying 5 by 5. And indeed this guy should be offed, because you're creating it on the 0 0 and then you're pushing it up, so you don't need this guy. This guy is all you need. You don't need a copy of the original one on the ground. Anyhow, now we need to input the new parameter. It's a 24.8, 25, 40, 18, and you can notice that that guy is actually changing when I give the new numbers. 18E3 it's 31, and eventually R is 2 and R2 is 9. Now see the benefit of having again a parametric outline or a parametric plan. They are the same geometry, they are the same formula, and by changing their inputs we get a seriously different geometry. It's almost similar, just that this is longer and this is shorter, but from now on there is more you're gonna get more distortion in the geometry itself. Anyway, so that's you can make this level or floor saying that or stating that here. Let's say it's floor 5. I can push that up again, or making another copy out of that. Now let's make like floor 11, and by 11 again, that's the floor number 11, and immediately we're gonna get a 55 here. .6 for P1, P2 24.7, E1 24, E2 22, 3.1 26, and now R1 is 3 and R2 is 5. So again, if you have a look, now it's getting more roundy and less axis on this polar. The P1 is getting shorter and shorter. Now you can see that there are 3 different geometries, 3 different forms, but they all came from the same formula. Now again, another copy, and here we need to make level 17, the profile located at level 17, so you gotta get this as number 1 and 7, so this should go like 85, and then we need to give those the new value. Let's say this guy will be 23, 25, 20, and 20 again, 24.5, and I'll make this one 2, and the last thing here 5.5. So again, the new geometry here, that's level 17. Another copy up, and in it I will just make it around 35. So we're gonna get a height of 175. See? Great. Now we give the new parameter. (22, 23.6, 21, 20.3 or something, 21.5, and then we have R1 of 0.3, and the radius 2 is 4. Now you can see it's almost a circle in here. Now that's level 35. We have to push toward the 6th floor or profile. and in it let's just go for 47, and in it here 47. So this guys give us like a height of 235 meters. P1 would go 22.1, P2 29.5, E1 just 17.5, E2 it's 27.5, E3 it's 23.4, and R1 is just a 4, while R2 is 1.3. Now it's getting like more triangular, okay, shape here. Now the last profile we need to create is the highest profile, which is 57. So that's the floor number 57. That's a 285 meter, and it's 16.5 for P1. P2 is 30.5, E1 15.2, E2 30, and E3 19. And R's are seriously small. It's 0.4 by just 0.5. Here we go. It's triangle exactly. So you can have a look here. See, crazy different possibilities to get this shape, and each one of those possibilities actually depending on the same formula, on the same geometry. So now those are our profile. We need to create a loft. Actually it's a solid one, so Solid.ByLoft. So this guy here, and this guy actually need a cross section, so you cannot connect it to one of those, you need all of them actually. So again, it's a list.create, that's you need, and we have 7 profiles, so we need, that's number 1, so 6, and I'll take that guy to the lower level just to start the other way around. The lower thing is the first one, and so on. So I'm connecting all those profiles into a list, so it can be identified as one group of profiles, and we give those to the loft, so it creates the geometry for us. Almost there, only one to go. So now all of them, you can see when you select, everyone is highlighted. So now you can connect that to the loft solid, and you can get the first step of this geometry, which is the architectural form, or the solid part of this building. That's what we want, as you can see, because this guy, you see here, this guy is actually the building itself, the floor plan. That's what we're gonna slice in Revit or in Dynamo and make slabs and plans out of it, not the shell, not the external facade, not the, you know, the external skin of the building. That's the form that we want. Okay, and that's will represent actually the first basic step in making this tower. In the next step, now I will try to show you how to make the skin or the facade. Actually, we need to define a new profile for it. And if I go to Revit, you can see that's how nice those shapes. That's one, that's the second, and so on until you end up with the triangular shape. But when you go to 3D, it's still not the solid, still nothing actually. So don't get confused when you model with these guys. It's still nothing. It's just a ghost image that reflects that there is an entity here in Dynamo, and Revit is trying to just give you an indication of that existence. It's not yet a solid, it's not yet a mass. You need to that I'm going to show you in the next videos how you can change this into mass so you can slice it, but for now it's just like a ghost image of this solid geometry that you create by loft, depending on the profile, the seventh profile that you created. Anyway guys, thank you for watching me. I wish that you find this video useful. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye bye.